Hi, welcome back to Movie Review Mom. How do you like this new background? It kind of sparkles, huh? Tell me if you like this one or the one with the red theater seats better. Anyway, the movie that I'm reviewing today is called Wildlife. It's rated PG-13. It's an hour and 45 minutes. And the grade that I gave it kind of hovers between a B plus and an A minus. And I'll tell you why. But first, in a quick nutshell, Wildlife is kind of a coming of age film that's loosely based on the novel by Richard Ford, although it was made without the author's endorsement, which I think is kind of interesting. This is Paul Dano's directorial debut. Say that 10 times fast. And he's certainly off to a great start. The acting is fantastic. And the movie is really well done. But anyway, I'm jumping the gun. Let me first tell you about some tips for some parents. There's some profanity, and also that parents can learn some lessons about how to be a terrible, selfish parent. The examples that you see in this movie are just heartbreaking, really. A married person has an affair, although you only see kissing, so that's good. The affair is implied as you see a bed and some clothing on the floor. Thank you. I don't have to see everything that happens, right? I don't need to see flesh, especially, and all of that, the moves and stuff. In fact, I prefer it. It seems that it's more artistic to not blatantly show everything on the screen. I like that when things are suggested, and there is a lot of subtlety in this movie, which I really do like. Children will mostly be bored, or if they watch this film, they could be disturbed by some of the yelling, the bad choices, and watching a family fall apart in front of their eyes. That's disturbing. And kind of one of my biggest not, I don't know about complaints, but my heads up about this movie is you do see a family really struggle. And a lot of people go to the movies to escape from real life. Their families might be falling apart. So why do they want to go watch another person's life in total disarray and chaos? So just go in knowing that it's a very sad, heartbreaking movie. So if the theme and the topic will make you be more depressed, then you probably want to skip this movie. But if you want to see a very artfully done, very skilled movie, regardless of its topic, then I think that you'll really be impressed with this. It's already won some awards at film festivals and People's Choice type of awards. Some of the themes are obviously family, also trust, betrayal, forgiveness, repentance, sacrifice, service, and selfishness. So there's some pretty heavy themes going on here. Jake Gyllenhaal, now I forget how to pronounce it. Anyway, I think he is one of the greatest actors in Hollywood today. I really love watching his work in any movie that he's in, really. And he actually produced this film. It's surprising because he didn't cast himself in the role being on the screen 100% of the time. He disappears for a long stretch of the movie. But when he's on the screen, he's dynamic and awesome, and I love him. Carrie Mulligan is such a lovely and talented artist. And I've never seen her in a role quite like this before. Her American accent is spot on, but I have to say that there's a scene where she's eating and she's got her fork turned upside down like they do in England. So that's kind of a giveaway for her British upbringing. But she's very believable. And again, I've never seen her quite like this. Usually she's more delicate and softer, and she it's just a different type of woman in this movie. Anyway, you'll be very impressed. She and Jake Gyllenhaal co-starred in the movie Brothers together back in 2009. Great camera work by Diego Garcia with such an interesting perspective and some great angles and just some great shots. Really well done. He'll probably get an Oscar nomination for this. And Oxenbould has a bright future in acting. He plays this young boy, this teenager, and he can say so much with his face, which is such a talent. And he does a great job. And you just want to hug him because he goes through so much in this movie, and it just breaks my heart as a mom. Anyway, the movie was filmed in Montana and Oklahoma, and I really like the symbolism of the wildfire that's raging near the town's border, like the family that is on the edge of disaster. There's some quite a bit of symbolism, actually. I also like, for example, I like that the boy works at a photography studio, since the director slash co-writer Paul Dano explained that the movie is supposed to be a portrait of family life, and it is. It's a sad story, a sad tale. The mom talks about how the trees that survive the wildfire are called the standing dead. So I want you to ask yourself, when you watch this movie, which of the three main characters is the standing dead after this family is destroyed? And maybe more than one, maybe all of them. Anyway, I'd love to get a discussion below in the comments and see what you think. Now, some things that I didn't like is that some people will call this movie a slow burn. Some people will call the film boring. It's really an exploration of their characters, their relationships, and how they resolve certain issues, rather than an action-packed movie. I mean, there's a fire, but that's just burning along the sidelines. It's not an action with firefighters going in and you're watching all of that drama. It's definitely a drama, though. And I just felt so bad for these characters, and as their whole lives implode. And like I said, it's just heartbreaking. Um, and as I mentioned at the very beginning, this is one of those kinds of movies that will actually make you feel worse, or could make you feel worse after you watch it. So, going to the movie is supposed to be a respite from the cares of the world. And so this movie is not that respite that you might be looking for. Anyway, there's some really interesting lines. For example, Jake Gyllenhaal's character says, "Ask them something personal. Works like a charm. People love to talk about themselves," as he's giving advice to his son about how to make friends. And then another moment he says, I thought that it was or he says, "I thought it was that easy. There's probably something wrong in that." And that's kind of a theme, that family life is not easy, and anything that's really worthwhile isn't easy. And you need to give pause on the things that are difficult in your life. Are they just difficult and they're not meaningful and they're not important? In which case you can discard them if possible. But the things that are difficult, like family life and relationships, those are definitely worth fighting for. Um, Oh, I don't even want to, I don't want these movie reviews to go on so long where you're like, I could have watched the movie in the amount of time that it took for you to say all this. So let me just quickly say, go on to moviereviewmom.com and you can see all my written reviews where I go into all of the interesting lines and the funny lines. And there aren't very many funny lines in this movie, but some of the more information about the movie, if you want more information, or you want to go on there and talk about it as on there as well. And now I'm getting all tongue-tied. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this movie. Go into it knowing what it is, and then I think you'll be really impressed with the artistry that's involved. Anyway, that's my review for today. Be sure to check out all my other reviews. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. You know the drill. Anyway, I sure appreciate your support. Thanks for visiting my little place in cyberspace. Bye for now.